Hey everybody, welcome back to Highly Unlikely with Josh and Jenaye. We're both here today, so that's exciting. And we also have a special guest with us. His name is Raymond. We also call him Pastor Raymond because Raymond is our Bismarck E-Kids pastor, and our kids love Raymond.
Yeah.
Big fan. So Raymond, why don't you say hi to everybody and tell them about your family?
Well, my name is Raymond. My wife, Lisa, recently joined the staff team as well. We have two boys, they're 13 and 11, born and raised in Bismarck. My boys go to Shiloh. I got a to-be 7th grader and 5th grader, and that's where my wife was working before here. So it was a little awkward the other day having the open house, and she's not in a classroom. Yeah, but fun to be working together. So,
well, the fun fact: did you know our youngest is in the class that she was in?
And I believe she had both your older two as well came through.
And they called her Mrs. Dingerman.
Mrs. Dingerman. That R sometimes gets slipped in there. Yeah.
What's funny is that people in South Dakota put an R in our last name. It's Sherdahl.
Interesting.
Which I just don't even understand the translation. But it is more fun to say Dingerman than Dingeman.
But, that E gets a lot of people too. So you got a random spelled last name too.
How do you say it?
The E is actually silent.
Yeah,
so you say Dingman?
Dingman.
That's how I've always said it. How have you always said it?
Dingeman.
Dingeman?
Yeah.
But Dingeman is, I could see, but you get like Dingeman or Dingeman. So, but that E, that D, the E in there throws a lot of people.
You can't even knock on your last name. I mean, our last name is kind of the hardest.
Yeah. I still walk by Lisa in the hallway and say, hey, Mrs. Dingerman.
Dingerman. Fun. In high school, they called me as Dinger, was kind of my short nickname. Okay. So fun.
Yeah, it works. Yeah. Okay, Jenaye, you got a question from we're calling it a question from the cube now rather than the
I do feel like we've answered this one already.
Let's do a different one. I just grabbed one from the front.
Let's grab.
Here, you draw.
I will try. I feel like I'm going to get multiple, but
How did you meet Mrs. Dingerman?
We met in the Guard, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, she was in the Guard for a little bit.
I don't know if I knew that.
Just a short stint.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's
How old were you guys?
Oh, man. I was 26, and she was about 20, 21.
Cool.
22, yeah.
And met in the Guard. I didn't know that.
That is awesome.
This is a very interesting question. These are the ones I love. Would you choose to only need 2 hours of sleep a night if it meant you would die 7 years earlier?
Wait, one more time.
So essentially, would you say yes to only needing 2 hours of sleep a night? You're still rested, get as much done as you want. You only need 2 hours of sleep. But the catch is you would die 7 years earlier.
I'm going to go with no, because I don't want to be awake in the middle of the night all night when nobody else is awake.
The introvert in you doesn't want that?
Well, I mean, that's a lot. That's like, if you sleep from 12 to 2, that's a lot of hours with nobody else around.
I only sleep like 4 to 6 hours a night as it is.
Really?
But 7 years also implies you know when your time is. I don't know how to answer that.
No, it's an interesting question.
Because if your 7 years is the difference of living to 97 to 90.
That's true.
But if it's like 57 to 50, I'd rather make it to 57.
Yeah.
I don't have a definitive answer. I don't sleep much as it is, so. But I could find all kinds of projects to do in the middle of the night. Yeah. I'd be out back in my shop just tinkering and finding things to mess with.
Really? Wow. I would definitely take the 7 years.
And sleep all night?
And sleep normal. Yeah. We're to the age now where we got to process for our sleep. You know, it's like we do the mouth tape. I got a face mask to block out all the light. I mean, it's like I'm getting good sleep right now.
I took a picture of myself all decked up for bed, and I thought I would post it on social media, and I still haven't had the guts.
I am napping a bit more now that I'm retired. But not.
Oh, that's what we got to get into. Now that you're retired.
Let's pick it up. How are you retired? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit of your background?
Yeah. Well, I spent the last 23 years in the Army National Guard here in North Dakota. I joined when I was 17. I was a junior in high school. And I was fortunate enough at a young age to get a job that's called AGR, Active Guard Reserve,
Does that math mean that you just turned 40?
I did. I just turned 40.
When was it?
February.
How you feeling?
Great.
I'm 5 months out.
My body started falling apart about age 36.
Okay.
So I'm learning now that the energy I have as a person, my body can't keep up with. I keep breaking. So
yeah.
Interesting.
So it's helping me, I guess, slow down a little.
Your beard is not breaking down.
No,
your beard is healthy.
It's nice and thick and full, and yeah, it's been fun to grow a beard. Yeah. Now I don't have to shave anymore.
Yeah, first time in, what did you just say, 23 years?
23 years, yeah.
Crazy. Sorry, so I interrupted you.
Yeah, no worries. But
17.
So AGR, Active Guard Reserve, when you're full-time guard, there's also technicians, which is a whole nother story, but I was basically a federal employee for the state. And when you get 20 years of your service, of active service, you can retire with your pension. So on June 25th, 2025, I hit my 20 years active federal service and decided to retire because I get my pension now and move on to career number 2.
Yeah. So
cool.
So thank you for serving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Seriously.
For 23 years. And career number 2 has been on your mind for how long?
Oh, man.
When did that start to percolate?
Well, we started coming to Evangel about 12 years ago. And then Pastor Bryce got me kind of plugged in with, we were starting the men's nights and stuff. So I was helping with that. And that really sparked something that there's more. And I was able to do the MLC program maybe 8-ish years ago now. And I was doing that while I was full-time guard. They let me, because it's school, so they allowed me to not go to work on Tuesdays, and I came here for the MLC stuff.
Yeah.
And then that really, I guess, sparked more in me. And then the big one, though, would be about 5 years ago. I was having a lot of friction at work, and I just knew, like, this is not working for me. And so I took 2 days off to figure out what's next, like, because I knew, like, God, this is not what you want for me. Like, I'm having success at my job. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but there's just too much friction. Something's not right here. And I was walking on those hills behind BSC, those little trails back there. And there's like an email thread, I'm sure you guys are part of it, with all like the credentialed ministers in the state. And it was Pastor Dan Kent at Capital Christian was looking for a kids pastor. And I was serving in our kids area here. And I actually had served with them on Wednesdays as well before I was here on Wednesdays. And it's like, wow, okay, God, I'm out walking, figure out my next steps. Is this it? And he's like, no, Raymond, you have 5 years to your retirement. I waited 30 to start my ministry. You can wait 5 to start yours. Like, all right. So, and it was funny as that was all in about 15 minutes of my 2-day break I took to navigate my next steps. But when you're seeking boldly for things that you should be seeking, like he will answer you. Right. So, so I continued my walk and just dove more into here with serving with Pastor Kyle.
That's awesome.
So, but you kind of knew that maybe full-time ministry was at that point the next step. Yeah,
and it was on my heart. I was very like when Pastor Kyle came, he let me just lead and grow. And oh my goodness, I don't even know where to begin with everything he's helped me. Like navigating Wednesdays and just allow me to explore everything I possibly could want to within ministry, knowing that when I would be done with the guard, that I would have a full, resume when I'm applying for a position, that I'm not just some new person that thinks he wants to, come serve for the church. There's a lot of real applicable things that he allowed me to do. So I guess your question, though, was when that call spurned, doing MLC very much opened my eyes to what the church does and how I fit into that. That we all have our own unique gifts and skill sets, and there's a place for you. So MLC really opened that up for me.
So like during that time and in the 5 years after, how did you go back to work every day with like a sense of mission, rather than just saying like, I'll do ministry 5 years down the road, what was that like? A lot of people who listen, are workplace people and wonder, how can I be a light,
Well, I made sure, I actually had some opportunities at work where they wanted me to go to some schools that would have got me promoted again. And I decided it wasn't the right move because I knew it'd be more hours. And I had the balance of I work enough at my guard job, I'm successful at my guard job, and I'm home with my family, and I can serve church. And I knew that if I picked up another rank with the military, I'd probably have to serve at the church less. We make enough money, our life's great, family is great, like all those things stayed in balance. So I think that's the most important thing I did was, and it was hard sometimes with that pride inside, like, oh, well, yeah, I want to be promoted.
Yeah.
But just understanding that that wasn't what God wanted me to do. So, I forgot the question already.
I think
that's great. Raymond.
What I spoke about, this last weekend was just maintaining a sense of priority in your life.
Yeah.
Even when there's opportunities or you can obtain other things or titles or possessions or whatever it is. And I mean, you just laid it out. You're like, here were the priorities and you guarded them, you know, and serving in church was one of them. And that obviously was, you were building a resume, to be able to fulfill that calling before there was ever a job in front of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
That's so great.
I always joked with Pastor Kyle that I was his bivocational volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, I mean, Pastor Bryce came to me like 18 months before you were retired.
Yeah.
And we were starting to look at this, like, and just for everybody listening, Pastor Kyle is still here. He oversees like all of Next Gen now, but he specifically puts a heavy emphasis still on kids and even doing kids stuff around the nation. But, I lost my train of thought. I wanted to clarify
he came
that.
to you 18 months prior.
Oh, and Pastor Bryce has been like, what about Raymond? Because we knew we were going to need more kids help. And I was like, when does he retire? And Bryce is like, I think like 18 months. I was like, how's that going to work? But I mean, the fact that you had already set priorities, as I'm going to serve the church and I'm going to show up, and you just had a can-do attitude and a yes in your heart already made it possible. Where now all of a sudden we're a couple of years down the road and we're sat here,
It was when this position actually was open was almost 24 months before I got the position. And it was hard waiting for that because when you're sitting at the guard, knowing you're done, the retirement date's approved, and you're just waiting, and then this position opens up in your home church, that I'm just reading the description of it like I'm doing that for him and I'm doing that already. And it was almost like you guys hand made it for me. And I was just waiting for someone to say, hey, Raymond, you should apply for this. And I remember one day somebody flew here and they interviewed him and he was amazing. And I was so excited because I get to learn from both of them. And for some reason or another, it didn't work out. And that's when I started engaging with Pastor Kyle on the position. And it was kind of weird because you need references. Like, well, you can't use the person who's the hiring approver to be your reference. And then at the same point, like, well, if I don't get this position, I need you as a reference for the next one. So that was fun navigating all of those things. But it was super fun. Like learning patience as you have to wait for it's a carrot in front of you, but it wasn't your carrot, but it ended up being my carrot, I guess. Now we're here. So
right, because the timing in the natural didn't make sense. It's like, well, this position's not going to sit open for 2 years, right? Like,
I didn't think it would still be here. No,
exactly.
And you knew it was needed. Yeah,
exactly. And I think the thing that maybe we could lean into a little bit is just how faithful you are in serving in the church, because like Josh said, your priorities are set. Because I would assume there's a lot of kids and kids, specifically Raymond's in the elementary area a lot specifically, where my own kids probably didn't notice any different from you not being on staff to you being on staff, because you were doing a lot of the same things. You were a very empowered, high capacity dream teamer. And most people who listen to the podcast, they work a job or they have their normal priorities. How would you say, like, how would you encourage them, or practically even say, like, this is how you can make sure your priorities are in line, or this is how you can dip your toes into what's my gift in God's kingdom and in the body?
I just started serving in eKids because I knew that I liked kids and that there very much help was needed in eKids. I started serving in the nursery. And I really wasn't saved at that time either. Like I knew Jesus, but listening to our nursery coordinator, who's still our nursery coordinator, read Noah's Ark, it made me open my Bible and realize this thing is real. And so walking through serving, I just realized what serving did for my faith. outside of just reading that Bible and knowing that it's real. Serving was a tangible way to actually apply like what Jesus did for me.
Right.
And so finding where you belong, like I never thought that I would be a kids pastor. I very much, when I did MLC, I was in the men's area helping with all of those entities, but I served with kids because it doesn't matter how old they are, they're still a man. And so whether they were 2 or whether they were 8, I just enjoyed all aspects of those, trying to connect dads with different things they could do. But to your question of figuring out where your gifts belong is just go start serving somewhere. Figure out where your gifts fit. Go check out production. Maybe you don't realize that you have a gift with that unless you try.
Right.
And I know a lot of people want to do like I'll call them parallels. Like when I was a recruiter for the Guard for the last 18 years, and when you meet people, hey, I'm a cop, so I should be a military policeman. But what if you were a mechanic, right? You like to be a cop, that's what you do, but you also like fixing cars. So why not come do that for the Guard and get paid to do a hobby and not do the same thing? Or sometimes it is nice to have the same thing and parallel those, but sometimes doing something different is a lot of fun. So so I understand, I know like a lot of teachers that don't serve in elementary, but maybe they're on the welcome team. There's nothing wrong with that.
That was the first thing I thought of. A lot of teachers, it's like, hey, you should serve in e-kids. It's like, well, I'm teaching kids all week. Where I think of someone that maybe you're in like boardrooms and like high level executive things and you have a lot of pressure in the things you're presenting, to present a Bible story to the 3rd graders, like
absolutely, if
you're just fun, they're going to love you. If you misread one thing, they don't care.
Absolutely not.
They are so like, I love that. Don't think about it in parallels, but how can you, discover
try something different. You'd be surprised at how much fun it can be. So, and shameless plug for e-kids.
Hey, do it.
They just want your time. It's not hard. So.
Jenaye, have you ever thought about where you would serve in the local church if we weren't in the role we're in? Like if we just were attending a church, like where you would sign up?
I think my heart would be the same like I am here. Like if I need to stand at a door on Sunday, I'd do that. Or if they need, I don't know how to make the coffee, but if they needed help, I'd figure it out. Or like, I think it was last Sunday, I was like, do you guys need help in here? And you're like, yeah, sure. I think that's kind of how I was at my previous churches. So that's, I think, how I would be.
And pick one area and stay there.
That's true. Don't do what I do.
Don't do coffee on one Sunday and do greeting on one Sunday and preschool one. Find an area because you get to know the people around you, which will help you grow. And if you're in e-kids, you get to know the kids and the families, which helps. So find an area, try it for a bit. If it's not for you, no one's going to be upset with you if you want to move.
Maybe my answer would change because I guess I do that because of our position. Because I'm always like the floater. I'm like, I can fill in wherever. I can fill whatever holes.
I was trying to think
I don't know. I love New Here booth. Like that, when we were newly married, that is where that's my bread and butter. Because I was a new person here. And like, I love helping people feel not alone. Like, if you don't know where that bathroom is, that's okay. A lot of people don't.
Absolutely.
I'll help you. So.
For sure. I was just thinking for somebody listening, a lot of people do get stuck, even if they come to Heart and Soul, they're like, but I don't know where I fit, and they're so used to kind of the roles that life has brought them. Like, well, this is my job that I do every day. And this is I'm a parent or, and I thought maybe go back to like when you're in high school or college and you could like pick what you were going to study or you could pick what your hobbies were going to be and how you're going to spend your time. Like what were your interests then? And because there are people who, I think of our conversation with Noah, and I've referenced it many times, but he's in the school system. But then when he came to Evangel, he's like, I think I'm going to check out production, and it's like hit a niche for him.
Yeah, and he likes it.
Yeah. So it might be totally different than something that you do in your everyday life.
Right.
Then you get to come learn a hobby and have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you said something really great though. Like when you really invest in a team or you serve at the same service, you're going to get to know the group of people. And I think serving in connect groups make your big church feel small.
Absolutely.
That is what, if you know the Durungs, it's a couple on prayer teams, but when they first came, they were so intimidated about how big the church was. And someone said to them, what did they say? The more you serve and the more involved you get, the smaller the church is going to feel. And they were like, I don't know about that. And now they're like, we're living in it. Like, because it feels way smaller because you're in like your little like niche areas and the people you're connected to. But Speaking of you, serving very faithfully in the local church while holding your marketplace job, what was the most rewarding part of that? And what was the most challenging part of that?
The most challenging part was obviously waiting, especially when you see not knowing where we're going to go. Yeah. So I knew I had that date of June 2025 and getting to, I was hired in August part-time. So, But leading up to that, you're starting to process, are we going to be selling our house? Are we going to be staying in Bismarck? Are we going to go, who knows where? Because I was very open to whatever God had for us.
Yeah.
Were you guys that committed as a family of like, hey, this is the next step. We're going to do ministry, and wherever we need to go to fulfill that, we're going to pick up and go?
Yes. We had, I'm wearing my Alaska shirt today.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
I very much would love to go to Alaska and be in rural Alaska, partnering one of those schools. Yep. Teaching is fun. As a family, we love like hunting and just the idea of maybe having a little homestead. And I know it's a lot of work, but hunting all my own meat and having a big garden and being self-sufficient would just be amazing. And then you're in a little community, but that's not what my wife and children want. So that's obviously not what we should be doing. Yeah, my wife is all in as well and super supportive, and she grew up in a small town, so she had like, I don't want this small, but I'm okay with this small, and because Bismarck's getting big. And I'm from here, born and raised here, but I've also lived in Williston and Jamestown, and I've seen what other towns have to offer, and Bismarck being big isn't always an advantage either. But but having to wait, and then like I said earlier, seeing this position open up and having not even being able to apply for it because it was just like hand-picked, made for me. But the most rewarding thing is making a difference at work. Sometimes I did feel siloed because not everyone around you lives the way you live. Yeah. I always thought it was funny. I'd be like in a meeting and maybe somebody would swear and they'd look at me and apologize. Like, I don't know why you need to apologize to me for swearing. Just the rewarding part was the patience at the same time. Like I was good to know that God had something for me and just putting it in his hands and letting that just process and letting him just be in control.
Right. That's great.
Yeah. The waiting season is incredible. Honestly, like when I think about it, the fact that I'm trying to think how I would handle that, like being 2 years out, kind of your dream job being posted.
Yeah.
And being like, but I have to sit. And I actually think that there's a few, not to be like philosophical, but I think when somebody's about to go into full-time ministry, I think there are a few like passageways that they have to go through. And one is generally they walk through some kind of trial or difficulty that is pretty challenging. And another one is they have to go through a legit waiting season, and like you said, it's like, well, Jesus waited a long time, to build the character to be able to sustain a public ministry. And so there's some things that people talk about that I'm like, yeah, that is pretty classic. I remember even, not to share his whole story, but Travis, who's doing all the work in the prison outreach. And I think I've shared this on a podcast before, but for him, it was like, you walk through some real challenge and health challenge. And it's like, hey, there's going to be a slingshot effect here. Like you're going to feel like you're getting pulled back, like you're having to hold back, but then all of a sudden God's going to release you into what you're called to do. And you're going to propel forward really, really quickly. And it's happened with you, Yeah. I mean, your influence on our staff team has just been like, boom, so fast and so healthy. And so many people on our team look up to you for your work ethic, for your love for people, your love for kids, for the patience, and the character that you and Lisa carry. And so it's just cool to sit on the other side of that now and go, wow, thank God that all worked together.
Right. I know Pastor Bryce had talked to me to other positions in the couple of years leading up to it, not like, when is your day again? So just everyone
so crazy.
Just patiently waiting.
Yeah. Right? Was it hard to find purpose at work for those 2 years, or to not just wish the time away?
So I spent the last 18 years, I was working as a recruiter. 6 months of that, I was with the military police unit. So more or less, I was recruiting the whole time. But the last 8 years, I was working as our prior service recruiter. So all I did was help guys or girls get back in the military. And a good portion of them weren't discharged on their own terms. They maybe stopped showing up or had got a couple DUIs. And so they just wanted to redeem themselves. Their life outside the military didn't go well. They had cleaned themselves up. And it was just really fun to give that back to them. So it was lots of paperwork to clear their name and help them get some letters together. And it was very rewarding helping them get back in. And going to like a drill where you see soldiers, you help get the uniform back on, I'd get like hugs. Yeah. And it was awesome. So it was not hard to find purpose.
That's amazing.
It was a joy to help guys get back what they lost. And some got out like on their own terms too, and they just miss it. And it's just fun to give them back too. But most of the guys I was helping, and helping, it wasn't like, I wasn't a salesman. I want to provide you, I just want to answer your questions. Is this the right fit? And it was so fun.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, what skills did you see the Lord develop in the secular space that now you're getting to use really within the church space? I used the word parallel earlier about serving. There are so many parallels as a recruiter to what I'm doing right now as our kids pastor. Making my lesson on a Sunday, the speaking part is like making a presentation like I'm going to do at a school. I have to recruit dream teamers like I recruited soldiers. I'm leading a team like I was there. It's almost exactly it. And That's
as a soldier,
crazy.
you have there's the warrior ethos and there's the NCO creed and the soldier's creed and all these things you live by. And with us, we very much still have a standard. I was a sergeant. I want to live by that. And as a pastor on staff, we have certain mottos we uphold. And so it wasn't too hard to continue to follow those things because we should be an example. So it was all just preparing me for this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to transition over, I think.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest surprise, like being on team? And I know you had a gradual jump onto team and then a full-time jump onto team, but what's been different? Or surprised you?
I knew there'd be highs and lows of working as a pastor. I didn't realize it'd be this high and this low.
Right.
But I knew they were there. I really like the way our staff loves each other. Coming to work and serving with everybody here is special, and it's so fun to get to know everyone. And because we don't see each other, like my wife works here. This morning I went to her desk at like 11 because I hadn't seen her yet. We don't drive together. I get here a little earlier. It's like, I'm just gonna go say hi to Lisa real quick. But it's cool.
That's a good surprise.
So it's fun to just get to know the team and to see how everyone just takes care of each other is wonderful. I remember even the Joy House team. The one young lady one morning, I usually kind of serve myself my coffee, and she grabbed my cup like, I want to serve you this morning. Oh, you're awesome.
Yeah, that's so great. That describes the heart of the team so much. I remember, because your wife just came on team not that long ago too, where we were talking one day and you're like, it's just the best. Like, it's just so fun. Like, this season of life, we get to work at the same place. Like how, and I'm like, I feel you. It's amazing. We get to do the same. It's really a privilege.
So can we just talk about eKids for a little bit? I mean, I was looking at the attendance at our board meeting, and it's like 650, 700 kids.
Yes.
Every weekend. Many of them are in elementary. Sometimes kids is the most challenging because people have their own kids at home that they're trying to raise, or like you said, teachers at school. And I think the other challenging thing is you can have a conversation with a young adult and watch them move from, a 5 in their faith to a 10 in their faith, almost just because they have the agency
in their life.
And with a kid, it is planting seeds, right? And so how do you,
I shared this at our all staff meeting last week where I was like, you guys, if you are not sitting in, because I sat in during eKids Elementary and Raymond was doing the teaching and he did something called Scripture Pop. And I was just like, this is literally a miracle right now. There is like, I would assume 200 kids sitting, and there is not that many of us adults, but there's some, like enough. Because you don't need crazy ratios like you do with babies. But it's a lot of kids, a lot of different behaviors, and it was silent. And they were like captivated
so engaged
by learning this verse. And I was just like, this is legit a miracle. I did say majority of the time I'm there, I just pray because I don't know what else to do.
I had the same experience on Sunday. I walked in and a friend was checking in their kids for the first time, and I could tell the kids were nervous. So I like walked in with them, and Pastor Kayla was speaking, and I had heard her at kids camp, and I really had like this, I felt like I was missing out, that I had to leave the room and I didn't get to stay because you guys do such an, I mean,
you do
legitimately, like the whole team. I'm so proud of our team right now, and like Pastor Kyle and you and Kayla, and it's just so cool. But how do you guys chalk up, like at the end of a Sunday, you've seen a ton of kids, you've done the service 3 times. Like how do you feel like you've won when it's kids?
I like at the end when you're giving your message and you're watching kids who you don't always think are paying attention, but then they respond to the altar call.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm thinking sometimes like, you weren't paying attention. And you'll ask them like, why are you up here? And they were listening. And in that like 2 minutes, they heard what you were saying and they responded and they're up at front on their knees to pray. And like what a whole hour looks like for them in a service is way different than what it looks like for us, which is why we have so many of those transition moments. We read the Bible verse, and here's a game to remember the Bible verse. We don't just sit down and read the Bible story. Like I very much, my style, I like to read part of it to them because there's power in that, but maybe trying to find keywords they can do movements for and stuff like that. But I would say the winning is at the end. If they're coming up, were they listening? Did they understand the point? Did they get that big idea? And even just the connections
I think that's something, after you finish answering this, let's talk to parents for a little bit of like, how can they be engaged in really their kids' spiritual walk? Yeah. Sorry.
But even when you're out of town, like not out of town, but out in town, like at Dan's, and it was the last day of my first full week here, and I'm checking out at Dan's, getting groceries for home, and I hear behind me, Pastor Raymond. And it was these 2 girls, and it's just like, it made me so happy that they knew who I was, and they see me out and about. And so just knowing those kids want to talk to you and excited to see you, you know you're doing something right. So
for sure.
It's all about the relationship.
Yeah. I just think about parents, oftentimes I think the mentality can be, I drop my kids at E-Kids, and really parents can take a role where they abdicate really the spiritual, the mandate on them as parents, and just try to give it to you and anyone that's serving in E-Kids. How would you encourage parents to be engaged, whether it's in conversation with their kids after, or just in what way to be engaged with their kids growing in their walk with Jesus or coming to know Jesus?
Well, I think this expanding on the content that we're creating for them. Right. So on Sunday, we have the big idea. That's the main point. Yep. So ask your kids, what was the big idea today? They should know what that is because we very hit that home. We have the E-Kids newsletter.
That was my question. Yeah. What was the big idea and what was the actions?
We let those kids know. Like if you're a parent, this is the answer. We have a newsletter that goes out. I think it's once a week that kind of expands what we did. Our Wednesday programming is probably my favorite with E-Kids Transform. Yep. And that 10 weeks, when you get your kids in a group, we send a whole box home of different things you can read and soap together, even with a journal and a pencil, like a whole kit to disciple your own children. Because if you're not doing things with your family outside of church and you just come in on a Sunday, it's not going to stick.
Yeah.
I mean, it is totally that. I mean, they're going to catch it. They're not going to, more caught than taught. And like an hour on a Sunday is not going to cut it.
Right.
For sure.
Well, I think I see some kids too that like, why am I here? So I've actually asked that. On Easter, we had like the bracelets to, it was leading up to Easter, take this bracelet home and give it to a friend, invite him to church. And I remember asking the kids, like, how many of you are here right now because you don't want to be here? Because mom and dad just simply dropped you off. And they kind of give you this look. I'm like, it's okay. Like, be honest, raise your hand. And some hands went up. And I said, why don't you keep that bracelet and invite yourself to church next week? I want you to want to be here. And you could see some of those attitudes change because a lot of them don't have a choice. And mom and dad might be all in. And just because your kids are coming every single week doesn't mean they are. Because they have to have their own relationship.
Yeah, right. The state of their heart. Yeah, bedtime for us is like the key key time to have deep conversations with our kids. It's like they want to avoid falling asleep, I mean, there's all those things. But I think more and more we've just talked about like, gosh, we need to encourage parents so much more. Like, don't abdicate your role and where God has placed you in these kids' lives to other people and what
I know for my boys, prior to them getting like their tablet time, very simple chore list. You have to vacuum their flight of stairs, practice your instrument for 15 minutes. Your homework needs to be done. Your room has to be picked up, laundry put away, and you have to soap a half chapter in your Bible. But it's forced them to create their own relationship.
Yes.
So yes, you can sit down as a family and do that together, but they need to do it on their own or else they're not going to establish their own relationship.
Right. I love that so much.
We talked about serving in the church a lot. Maybe people that are on the same path as you, either they're vocational and they're serving or they're exploring like a full-time ministry call. Can you build me like your perfect dream team? Or like if somebody was to show up to eKids and they're like, I don't know what I have to offer, or I don't know what I could do. Like, what would that person walk in the room in eKids Elementary or preschool and add to the room that would be a win for the kids and a win for the team?
Someone that's there consistently because you build a relationship, but across all of eKids, I would say more men.
Yeah,
there's lots of women that serve in eKids, but when men are present, there's the atmosphere that changes, the energy we bring. I'll pop into the preschool when they're short. Even like I was just in the foyer room the other week, and I was a human trampoline. It was super fun. But some of those kids sometimes that we can struggle with just because maybe they have a little more energy that a mom might not want to have the whole time. Where for me coming in there, I'm just a big kid, and it's just not hard to just show up and just be present, push Matchbox cars or build some Legos. But the perfect dream teamer, I say, is somebody that is just consistently there, probably every other week, and has an open heart and is not afraid to either sit with kids or maybe simply read a Bible story, but isn't afraid to just do things with those kids and not just show up and sit down, but actually show up and engage with kids.
Right.
Yeah. I think there are a couple ways too that you can expedite that, like connection with kids. Because if you go to a week of kids camp,
oh man,
and you're with those kids 24/7, for 4 nights or whatever,
absolutely,
you're going to build that rapport really quickly. And then, so I show up in eKids once in a while, and there's kids that I high five still from last summer that I just was able to connect with. And then also like leading a transform group or helping lead a transform group on Wednesday nights.
Sundays can be intimidating when you walk into that room and there's 150, 200 kids. But on Wednesdays, you get 12 kids. You'll have a co-leader and 12 kids for 10 weeks. It is, I have missed, over the last 5 years, I've missed Wednesdays twice.
Wow.
I was in Alaska on the mission trip, and then Pastor Kyle took me to the Next Gen conference in Orlando.
Wow.
I've had 3 surgeries over that time.
Oh my gosh.
2 of which I planned outside of Wednesdays. One was an emergency surgery. I had to have my bursa sac removed from playing Candyland. I got bursitis from playing Candyland, and they had to remove my bursa sac. I was actually in eKids on that Wednesday, knowing I had to go to the ER because this is an infection. I waited for it to end, because I love Wednesdays so much. But you get 12 kids, and those I've had. I won't be leading a group this year as I am now on staff and need to navigate everything. Yeah. But I've been doing what's called Boys Club on Wednesdays.
I was going to say, let's talk about your group, Raymond.
Man.
I love like your heart for like helping boys like just be a boy and like turn into a man. And
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
I get some rowdy boys in a fun way.
Yeah.
And Boys Club, we can do anything you want that boys do. We have balloon sword fights. We make box forts. I think the biggest week I bring in a deer heart and
that's the story.
Talk about how a heart works, and then we cut that sucker up and we eat it together. I've brought in a turkey. We butchered a turkey one time together.
What?
Yeah. Wednesdays are my favorite. And that's how Wednesdays work, is if you want to come lead with us, is whatever your hobby is, that's what you're going to do with the 12 kids you get. And it is so much fun just letting yourself be yourself with those kids.
Our girls did like bracelet making connect group. And
you didn't
there was
butcher a live turkey, did you?
No, it was a turkey I shot.
Say.
No. I shot it and put it in the fridge so it was good.
Josh is getting squeamish.
As the lead pastor, I felt obligated to ask.
No. It was.
I'll just never forget. And I've told this story before about the time that I walked into E-Kids and I went in the back room and there was this huge live, not even a pig, like a hog that you could ride on in the back room. And they're like, yeah, Pastor Kyle's going to kiss it. It's like the things that go on.
The kids had like raised enough money for missions or something. Yeah. And that's what I love too, like just the heart for missions that is being cultivated in the kids. Yeah. Sorry, we brought you on to really talk about how you navigated like secular workspace and your call ministry. We have, which we told you we were going to follow the trails wherever it led. But yeah. Sorry, I won't take us on another tangent. But
no, I don't know. I think that's super helpful. I think people often don't see what happens in E-Kids. It's kind of like a foreign country that they don't travel to, you know. And we get used to dropping our kids off. We drop them off at school. We drop them off at daycare. We drop them off at, and I think just the encouragement to get in there. And I know for me as a parent too, our lives get really busy. I had a day this week. Well, actually this morning, my daughter goes, Dad, I didn't even see you yesterday. And it was just the reality, and there was another night last week where I think I was putting the kids to bed alone and I was so irritated because I was so tired and they wouldn't go to sleep. And just trying to remember that those moments matter, and it would be easier if somebody else would just come take care of it or somebody else would just take my kids on Sunday. But then I also know, a moment when we'd watched a movie as a family and I went and laid by one of my kids and they started asking me about a scene from the movie that was really alluding to like a bigger life question.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you want those moments. Yeah. And I love that you have those moments with my kids, but I don't want you to have all of them. Right. Exactly. I want to have them. And so just really encouraging parents to not get in this American mindset of just dump your kids off, somebody else will raise them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we do that intentionally and sometimes unintentionally. Our life just, our society accepts that.
Right. And it's intimidating when you see all those kids like, well, I don't want to lead the Bible story. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. We just need people to sit and play with kids too. I know I've been trying, I'm trying to meet the families that I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I think it was, I pulled a report. Sarah pulled the report. Yeah. Sarah is amazing. And I'm awesome. So happy she works with me. So Sarah pulled the report. And I had it from Easter to it was the end of June, which would have been the first 2 months that I was here on staff. And it was any family who had attended our church 4 times over that 8-weekend stretch. Because I just figured you're gone some weekends, or we have some blended families every other weekend.
Yeah.
And it was 630 some families that had come through all of E-Kids, nursery to elementary. And I was able to look at names and I think I narrowed it down to about 300 families that I didn't know.
Wow.
And so I was sending them messages, just trying to connect with them, because even though I'm here every Sunday, I spend time in the preschool and the nursery and elementary. I might not know them. And I had amazing conversations with families and just hearing their stories. Fun one that someone would come find me on a Sunday to meet me.
That's so cool.
You're that guy that messaged me, is this real? Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
So it's just fun because just because you're here every week, you're not going to see everybody when you're in the elementary auditorium the whole time. And we try to get out to the welcome desk to meet families and be present, but they don't always realize that, I'm that guy or what I do here. There's just a guy wearing a baseball hat with a beard and a E-Kid shirt on. So
Totally.
Well, I think that's something we've talked so much about, just your intentionality, which is the heart of Jesus. He was very intentional, and just seeing the fruit of that, your intentionality. We love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being obedient and
absolutely
being patient and not giving up. And
thanks for giving me a chance to grow.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. It's great.
It's a great investment. I mean, just in who you are. And now even just what you shared, I'm like, that's such an example for our whole team of how to just love people, And it's easy to get very project oriented in the church, and we just have to keep people at the forefront,
right.
So I hope that Raymond's story inspires some other people in our church that maybe are wrestling with a call from God, or are thinking about serving, or maybe even thinking, man, could I help with kids? incredible leader to work with,
right.
and also a ministry where you can just leave an incredible impact.
Yeah.
Kids don't forget the heroes from when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
If anyone would like to talk about what their path looks like, I did MLC,
right.
and I also went. I did Bible college online after MLC, and so navigating all those entities and what it looks like to get to where you want to go.
Right.
I have no issues sitting down with anyone to do those things.
Awesome.
yeah, obviously he's a connector and he would love to have a conversation. So
I love that.
yeah, want to take us out, babe?
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. If you haven't yet, rate and subscribe to the podcast. It really helps it. And we'll see you next episode.